Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here. Today we're talking about Superman 3. Is it the most underrated Superman movie? And is it the blackest? Let's find out today on Hack the Movies.
Tapes, we're talking about tapes.
Hello, Frank.
Tony.
We're back talking about Superman.
I feel like we need to stop meeting like this. Yeah, we are. This might be the record of how many times. I don't know why I checked the watch. This has to be a record of how many times we've gotten together in the past couple months to record an episode, and it is just all Superman.
It's all
baby.
Superman.
All Superman.
Even the live episode was a show that was Superman adjacent, the Creature Commandos.
That's it, yeah.
And the first episode we did it with a redhead, Crystal. And I decided
what's her name?
Crystal.
Crystal. Okay.
She lives in Florida now.
Okay.
I decided for the follow-up, we'll pull a modern Hollywood and replace that ginger with a black person. Hello, Manny.
What up, Tony?
What's up,
DEI, let's go.
Yes, we are doubling down on DEI.
Yeah.
I am honored. That's excellent. Dear Lord.
This is going to be good, 3 people of color, Italians, blacks, same thing.
I got you, man. Yeah,
All North Africans.
5% over here, baby.
Yeah, today we're talking about Superman 3. We're covering all the solo Superman movies leading up to the new one. And what a classic film this is. Manny, what's your history with Superman, specifically these Superman movies?
There's a new Superman coming out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, there is.
James Gunn's directing it, or they're trying to build a whole new universe around
Stop it, dude. Don't break my heart. No.
James Gunn, didn't he make like tweets?
He did, and they fired him. They fired him.
Right off the bat.
We're starting early, aren't we?
it's
Yeah, man,
awesome,
they
baby.
fired him, and then they brought him back. He finished Guardians, and then DC was like, before Marvel brought him back, DC was like, well, we're a sinking ship. We don't care about the jokes. Take over all our superhero
No,
stuff.
dude, that's not what it is. Also, I shouted out James Gunn last episode. I know he watches, all right? I know he watches. Right, James? Right, Jay?
All right.
Manny,
this is
be
just
careful. Like,
No,
Frank,
I'm kidding.
Frank is getting closer and closer to being on screen and showing his face in one of these things,
One
all
of
right?
them. One of them.
He got cut out of Joker. He got the back of his head in Penguin. Don't fuck it up for
I don't
Frank.
know if I'm allowed to say, I had to sign an NDA, but I did audition for the Superman movie. So,
Hopefully you get some side profile this time.
yeah, but I feel, like,
That'll be the next one. It'll be a side profile.
I feel like that's really jumping the shark. We're trying to stay with the theme here of just the back of my head. It's just in case, if he's watching this time, so we could trace it out again. There it is. Maybe one of these good ones. Okay, all right. Got it.
Yeah, so there's a new Superman movie coming
Okay.
up. But what's your familiarity with Superman and these Superman movies?
I definitely watched them all as they were like new, and I don't remember anything
I'm
about
sorry.
them.
These came out in like the 70s and early 80s. What do you mean you watched them as they were new?
I watched them all as I saw them on TV.
Okay, that made a lot more sense. I'm like, Andy, how fucking old are you?
Young.
I'm really 1,000 years old. I have a vague memory of like Christopher Reeve's Superman back when I lived in foggy London town.
Yes. Is Superman big in foggy London town?
Sure. I have no point of comparison.
I didn't know you were a Londoner. Let's throw another shrimp on the barbie.
It's different. It's different.
No, that's not.
You couldn't tell by his accent
Yeah.
that he's a fancy British man?
I was trying to figure it out. It's a mix of Philly in there as well. You know what I mean?
My accent confuses a lot of people.
It really does.
That's Australia, by the way. Shrimp on the Barbie. Yeah, all right, just making sure.
People think Philly sounds like Australia. You've heard that before, right?
So I think it sounds more southern. If like a lot of like the I've played a western, like a cowboy before and all that. I had to go like a southern accent, and like as I picked it apart, like the way that they drop O's and their vowels and stuff like that, it really does kind of correlate sometimes.
I don't think it's
Throw
don't
some
know.
Delco in there.
Yeah, like I'm
I
telling
don't
you,
think
man,
it sounds Australian,
is.
but I've heard people who aren't from here think like South Philly and whatnot sounds Australian. But anyway.
I've never heard that.
Enough about Philly stuff and foggy London town. We got to talk about Superman 3.
All right.
Yeah, so I loved the Superman movies growing up. I watched them whenever they were on TV. I remember really enjoying this one as a kid. I remember this cover of Christopher Reeve looking unamused carrying Richard Pryor being like the funniest cover when I was a kid.
That's how we felt through the whole shooting of it.
Yeah, and then as I got older, I watched it again, and I was just like, oh, this is really bad. However, the last 2 times I watched this in beautiful 4K, thank God they put this baby in 4K, I think I like it more and more. I think, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of problems with this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I actually don't hate it. I'm like, this is actually kind of
If
fun.
you don't take it for what it is, then you're gonna have a problem watching this movie. You're like, what is actually effing happening? But
oh, don't get me wrong. As much as I like it, I do think to myself, what the fuck is happening? So this was going to be a very different movie. The original script, from what I read, was going to be Brainiac.
Yes.
Brainiac was going to come to Earth. He was going to have Supergirl, who wasn't Clark's cousin.
Yeah, because they were gonna hook up or something.
Yeah, she was in love with Superman, and then Brainiac was gonna do something to make Superman evil.
Yeah.
And they were gonna call it Superman versus Superman.
Yes.
It would make way more sense for a guy from Smallville to hook up with his cousin.
Now I get it. Now I get what the mentality was. Yeah, that makes sense.
But they decided that was too big and too expensive. But they kept the idea of like computers and a robot man, kind of, and the idea of Superman turning evil. The movie Kramer versus Kramer threatened to sue them for having a similar title.
Yeah, not the Seinfeld Kramer.
No, different Kramer. Although I don't know how you would confuse those two movies.
Yes, but
I went to see Kramer versus Kramer. Suddenly Superman was flying around.
Alone, the set piece at the ending cost $1 million to build. So it's like, I mean, if you build a Brainiac ship, I mean,
they built that at like the 007 stage, I think.
Yeah. You're spending $1 million one time to build the set. I mean, you could have done it, but I also heard that the way that it was ending, and this was being thrown around a lot from what I was reading, was that it was some kind of Renaissance fair.
Yeah, they were going to end up in medieval times.
Something,
they were going to fight Brainiac in medieval times.
Yeah.
But
Back to the Future.
Yeah. So they ended
He's
up
done it before. Superman's gone back in time before.
Yes.
So.
They ended up not going that route.
Okay.
And I guess somewhere someone went, we had Lex Luthor, criminal mastermind. We had 3 Kryptonians. Who could be Superman's next ultimate villain? And they went, obviously it's Richard Pryor.
And they spent a lot of money to get him on that film.
Richard Pryor, I found the episode, by the way, of The Tonight Show.
Okay.
Richard Pryor loved the Superman movies.
Yeah.
He's on The Tonight Show, and like he's talking about how excited he was for Superman 2.
He flies across and he's like this,
Yeah.
he's like that.
But he's telling Johnny Carson, he's like,
There's 4 Supermans.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and 1 Superwoman. Oh, it's going to be good. The previews are great.
so I guess they saw that. They're like, let's get fucking Richard Pryor. And he was hot at this moment. He was in a bunch of movies. He was in The Toy.
He was so hot that he set himself on fire.
He did. He did freebase cocaine and lit himself on fire. Although his wife now has said that was a suicide attempt, but there's no way to prove it.
I don't listen to women.
Man, he must be.
It is funny. I also watched the Tonight Show where he went on after he was like recovering, and he was joking with Johnny Carson. He's like, I was in the hospital and I put on the news and they said that I was dead. I was like, oh no, I hope I died before the 11 o'clock news.
I saw that one. Yeah, I mean, I think he had a deal with whatever the studio was over
Columbia. They gave him like
$40 million over 5 years, but then I guess the first was with Superman to sign on with that, and that was $5 million alone to get him on board. But then the whole thing kind of just turns into a Richard Pryor movie, which is great.
Which is actually the best thing about this movie. There's multiple stories about Gene Hackman and Margot Kidder. Now, they were very vocal. I don't know if you saw our Superman 2 episode, but they reshot that whole movie. Gene Hackman was not happy. He didn't come back for the reshoots. Margot Kidder was vocal about being mad that they got rid of the original director. Crazy. So there's this assumption that Lois Lane had her part reduced as a punishment. Okay. But the producers say, nah, we were just kind of tired of the Lois Clark thing. We wanted to try this Lana love story out.
Yeah.
Who knows which one is telling the truth. And then Gene Hackman, I think, even came out, the late Gene Hackman, We did that episode, and he died afterwards. So I had to have an whole insert.
All the comments were like, "Hey, didn't say rest in peace," and I was like, "Oh."
But yeah, he I think he even said he just had too many movies going on at the time.
Yeah.
So then they just made basically Lex Luthor, but casted Robert Vaughn to play him, but he's basically Lex Luthor.
I mean, he's basically the Lex Luthor that's used for all of media after that, like a businessman that takes
he is
over the
closer
world
to
and,
like what the modern Lex Luthor we know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Robert Vaughn plays him. They got Christopher Reeve back. He said he liked the script, but he was like on a 7-picture deal.
Oh dear. Really?
They had to do some negotiations with him, but they were able to get him back. And then Richard Lester takes over the entire time this time. Because previously they fired the director, and Richard Lester came in and injected some comedy into Superman 2. And I think with this one, he's like, let's go. It's
pretty much
full on.
Yeah.
Full on.
It's a Zack Snyder's Justice League situation. Yeah, it's okay. The fans understand. They get it.
Zack Snyder might have ripped a part off of this. I'll get to that soon.
We can get there. There's a few things that are kind of ripped. Star Wars is ripped off there. Terminator a little bit. I mean, this is the beginning of the 80s, baby.
Yeah.
So
another movie took from this, but they outright said that they took from this. For the audio listeners, I'm touching the Milton bobblehead from Office Space. But yeah, let's get into this wonderful film.
Let's dive in, baby.
Now, Frank, the first 2 Superman movies, they open on this majestic city on Krypton, these futuristics. It was so good in the first one, they did it again in Superman 2.
Yep, they were like, let's do it again.
Superman 3 opens up on the unemployment line.
No Brando.
No Brando, nothing.
Guess he's unemployed for the film, though. But
Yes. But yeah, we open up on the unemployment line and we meet he's basically, I know the movie's called Superman 3, but Gus Gorman is the main character.
Double G, baby.
So he's unemployed. He's down on his luck. He apparently got fired from a fast food joint in 28 minutes.
Yes.
And they let him know that unemployment is over for him.
36 weeks.
Yeah, he's done. And then he borrows a light from a guy. And on the matchbox, there's a thing there telling him to try out being a computer programmer. Manny, what do you think of the Gus Gorman character?
Well, I know usually you bring me on to be the racist mouthpiece.
I never do that. I bring you on because you're very funny and insightful.
I said I wanted to meet Manny Muskets, and here we are.
Yeah, every episode you're like, Manny, I need you to say it because I can't.
I never. Whoa. Disavow. I never say that.
Oh, shit.
But this time I have to stick up. Gus Gorman is the man.
Do you relate to this unemployed computer programmer?
Yes, it's a little too well.
Good with computers?
Yeah, I'm a software engineer by trade. I'm an unemployed software engineer. Actually, no. As of yesterday, I just got a job. I'm the newest busboy at Chili's.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Nicely
So what
done.
you're saying is,
Listen, don't start telling people where to put their oil ships and shit like that, all right? Because it's going to be a problem.
so what you're saying is when you watch, if we were to put on 2 superhero movies, one of them being Superman 3, the other one being Black Panther, which Black experience do you relate to more, Manny?
Well, my ancestors, I'm sure, have been to Wakanda. But I recently ran out of unemployment.
So you heard it here. Superman 3 is the more relatable film.
How did they know to write a script about you 40 years in the future?
Also, I learned how to program. I got pretty good at it. If someone asked me how a program works, I don't know.
Oh, shit.
That's the best thing about hacked movies is our diversity.
Yes, sir.
What other movie channels run by a schlubby white neckbeard guy has a Black computer programmer?
It's not just Italians, baby.
It's not just Italians on this show. Should be more Italians.
Well, we're not going to go there.
So yeah, Gus Gorman, the most relatable character in movie history.
You know, on the matchbox, I think the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wait, is it really?
Like I think that's what the number is what I read. Yeah.
It's not even the right number of digits.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a whole. Yeah.
So,
just the beginning, Manny.
so the first 2 movies, I don't know if you remember the opening credits, it would be like, the theme is playing, and then the words would fly at the screen.
Yeah, I hated this.
The credits for this movie are garbage. It's just they're just overlaid at the bottom of the screen,
It's an
and they just
eyesore.
go
It's-
on and on.
It's a real eyesore as you're going through because it's taking away from your attention. You can't even read it, and then it's like And this whole opening is, I mean, I know that it's the '80s, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe the slapstick stuff is still hitting back then. You got all these movies. It's still, I mean, we open with a Three Stooges.
You didn't like this wacky Rube Goldberg comedy scene?
Yes.
Where the hot girl, I think it's Lorelai, the main guy's assistant, she's walking around and she's just distracting people with her hotness, and it causes all kind. She causes more chaos than the bad guys do on purpose. We got mechanical penguins on fire. We have blind people operating machinery,
which is good. It's funny.
Yeah. The Clark Kent show. Oh, yeah. There's a bank robbery that Clark Kent does nothing to stop. I don't even think he's aware that it's happening.
Yeah, the whole Mr. Magoo hard code movie opening scene. Just thought out.
It was great. I think it was great.
I mean, I loved it. I loved it. Had fun with it. It was funny in times and moments and stuff like that. You're still like, okay, this isn't what I'm used to, so I'll give it a chance here. But I also thought that Superman was going to come back and maybe help the guy find the dog and I don't know, do something with the mime, get the bucket off the guy's head. But he doesn't.
Look, Superman does some stuff. He blows out the penguin that's on fire.
Okay.
And then a man drives into a fire hydrant, which starts flooding his car, and somehow his doors won't open.
Yes.
So Superman, he probably could just be Clark and just say, "Oh, the door was jammed. I got it." But no, he has to turn into Superman for this. He goes into a photo booth while and a kid just happens to put money in the thing. So it's taking pictures of, and he's like posing too.
Yeah.
And I like that he runs out. He lets the kid keep the last one and he takes the other ones with him.
That kid, do you know who he is?
Who is it?
So he's the one from he's the kid from the first one that lifts up the car.
Oh, it's
And
the young Superman.
They brought him back.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Supposedly all the telephone booths got knocked over. That was the excuse to do the.
Oh, that's right.
photograph
Yeah.
one.
See,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
such cleverly written. He couldn't use the telephone booth.
90% of the problems Superman solves in the first hour of this movie could have been handled by the Iron Fist or someone.
Any other superhero probably could.
Any man.
Yeah, honestly, he could just be kind of a strong man. It didn't need to be Superman. So yeah, Superman flies. He saves the guy from drowning in his car.
Yes, which is kind of incredible. It's kind of a cool effect that you have going on.
Yeah.
Right there.
And now there's mimes. We got mimes.
Yeah, and everyone applauds when he falls as well.
Yes. Because he falls onto what is it, like marbles or something?
Yeah, some kind of balls fall
And then
out.
Superman pies some poor bastard. Pies the guy in the fucking face.
Which he really did that when they went and shot that. Someone,
Yeah.
one of the PAs or someone really threw up a pie on the side, and Christopher Reeve would grab it and then do it. I mean, it took so many takes, but yeah, they wanted to land the take for him to actually catch it and do it. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Kind of like the multiple takes in Spider-Man with the food tray.
Kind of, but not as hard.
Spider-Man, Superman 3 was the blueprint, guys. Superman 3 is the blueprint for all superheroes.
That's it, man. We should try that. We should all try
It
that.
really was a prophetic movie.
It started it all off, baby. The third time.
So Gus is at the computer programming lessons, and the guy's saying, you can't do this on a computer. It's impossible. I forget what he was saying. I don't know if you took note of it.
It was something about two variables for one number.
We hear him through the whole film. What's the points on a map? You couldn't get the y-axis, or you couldn't get the
longitude, and latitude
at the same time, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it was.
But then Gus just does it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. I just did it.
Is he a computer programmer? Is there any kind of backstory we get that he is
No,
good
he
with
isn't. This
computers?
is I think what it is, I think there's a term in comic books now. I think it's called technopathy. It's when you can psychically sync up with technology.
And we're giving him that. Oh.
I think retroactively people have said that that's what Gus has. I think at the time it was just wacky, oh, look at that. He just knows.
Yeah, back in my day, we called it autism.
But I feel like some X-Men characters have it.
So So he's just a street level brainiac.
Yeah, well, like remember there was that X-Men Apocalypse where he touches the TV and he's suddenly connected to all the technology. I think it's something like that. He can like Mr. Terrific. He like speak to computers.
Yep, I got you.
But again, that's not what it was at the time. It was just like no one expects Richard Pryor to know a computer. LOL.
Computers are new. Who knows it? But this guy just stumbles upon it. Yeah. I love the look of the computers back then too. I mean, like, holy cannoli. Dude.
Oh, the retro look there.
Dear Lord.
So yeah, now he's a master coder. He gets a job and everything. We find out Lois just got done doing a story on our new bad guy, Ross Webster.
Yes.
And I like that they showed the picture of his sister. And like he's yelling, Perry's yelling at Jimmy for taking bad pictures. She's like, no, that's not Jimmy's fault. She just looks like that.
Yo, that sister gets roasted anytime
The
he
whole
meets her.
film. The whole film.
And then Laura, there was a million pictures of Lorelai because she's like a hot babe. Clark wants to do a story on his high school reunion.
Who the fuck cares about that?
He's trying to be a true journalist here, all right, man?
He's bad at his job.
Would you rather him make out with his cousin?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. You're right.
That's his favorite category on Pornhub, Frank. That's like his favorite. Hey, step bro, step cousin. It's legal on Krypton. Anyway.
What do you mean you can't hook up with your cousin?
Oh, Earth people are weird. Clark on Krypton, we did it all the time.
Oh, no. She actually in a ship behind me. She should be here any day now. Hope she stayed the same age. Oh, God.
So yeah, he's talking about doing the high school reunion, doing the story. He's like, what would it be like if you talked to everyone in your high school, Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, everyone I know I went to high school with is still in high school. And I have a note here. Fuck you, Jimmy. You're not that young. Like, fuck you.
It's been 5 years of movies so far, so
yeah.
that
Like,
doesn't really
you're
make
not
sense.
in high school, you dumb asshole.
Yeah. That's good. Supposedly.
Oh, you already threw out a
lot of
supposedly.
that. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that with this movie because I read a lot about it. But Chris Reeve wanted to. I always wanted to add the S. You know what I mean? Christopher Reeve wanted to not have Clark Kent be so kind of dumb and oblivious anymore, like banging in the doors and banging into things and this and that, putting his finger in an orange juice or whatever. It was. So he made him more aware and what's going on and want him to play a little bit more smart and all that. So through it, so you can kind of see how he plays it through this film. And honestly, I think it's one of his best kind of performances through the three.
It's not bad. There's awkward writing, and the scenarios he gets into are pretty terrible. But his acting,
the writing's rough for this.
Yeah,
one. But I think that this might be his best Superman.
His performance is good. What did you think, Manny?
I was just waiting for him to beef with Eminem.
What?
Christopher Reeves had a whole beef with Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Oh, dude, I don't remember this. Wait, tell me about this. I forget this.
Well, I think it was one of those one-sided beefs.
Well, I mean, I think Chris came out a whole bunch of times and said stuff about him. But yeah, back in the early 2000s, dude, Eminem was making songs I mean, I was bumping to him. So,
I ain't got no legs, no head or something.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh no, that's gonna bother me. Yeah, what song is that? It's on Encore.
You calling me offensive? I'm calling you offensive for calling me offensive. I don't.
Great job, guy.
Yeah.
My phone's all the way over
I know it's gonna bother me.
Hold on.
No, I grew up.
Echo.
On this.
What song did Eminem do that makes fun of Christopher Reeve?
Dude, this is embarrassing. I grew up on this. Encore. Rain Man. That's the new one. Why don't I get service down here? So the new one is
You said Brave New Dance or
Brand New Dance.
Okay.
Stop, clap your hands and stomp your feet. Go ahead, do the Christopher Reeves.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really.
So
We're
Christopher
not
Reeve,
recording right now, are we?
Christopher Reeve was not a fan of that, I guess.
And then Rain Man, which you
Yeah, he
probably
also
can't.
had Rain Man, and he had a Superman. I can't be your Superman.
Yeah. That's right.
I was unaware of the Eminem Christopher Reeve battle here.
Name a celebrity. Eminem has beefed with him.
Yeah. All right, so what I take from that is that you did like his performance. That was the answer. That was the question.
Oh yeah. He was good. I mean, I don't know what action was like in the 80s. So he seemed fine.
You've seen some acting in the 80s. We watched Soul Man. I like the gag that Clark's high school sweater has an S on it, and he holds it up. I'm like, that's cute. That's funny.
Lois takes notice, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, and then Lois talks about how she's going on a trip to Bermuda, and she's out of the movie.
And she hangs up her
she pulls out her bikini early, and she's out of the movie.
What a shame.
And then while they're doing this, I guess the Daily Planet is having a contest to send employees to South America. To Colombia specifically.
Colombia.
And they have a bingo thing, and they were like, "Oh, can we get a computer to do this instead?" And we cut to Gus doing really well at his job.
Was Richard Lester a comedy director before this? What was like his list of
credits?
films?
He might have been.
Just wondering because I mean he really because the second one he took it off of Richard Donner, so he couldn't really fix up the film as much as he wanted to, but I mean the second this one starts, it really dives into that comedic aspect. So and it carries. It's all right. It's fine.
Some people used to look at comics as just like fun, goofy stuff for children. Yeah, but now they're serious, Manny.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Yeah. That's. I don't know if this already happened. The scene with the fire later. He rips off like a chimney chute from the chemical plant.
Oh yeah, that's later.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna talk about it now.
Okay,
hidden muskets.
Yeah, but everyone like slides down the chute, and I'm like, if this was a modern movie, it would be filled with chemicals, and they come out like fucking mutants on the other end,
burning.
If it was a modern Superman movie, he would have not saved them. We would have seen them light on fire, and he would have been sad about it.
What movie's that?
That's what if they made this today. Because like in Batman v Superman, where he just doesn't help anyone at the Capitol building.
No. I thought.
I think in the extended cut, it shows him like putting someone on a stretcher. It's like you did nothing to help the people who were burning alive
he
around.
Cared though, Tony. All right, he cared. It's not his fault.
Anyway, so yeah, Gus. Has Gus never had a job before? Because he's looking at his paycheck and he's like, "What? They took money out." It's like, yeah, income tax. We all hate it.
Yeah, he also has never had a job before.
Well, he had jobs.
He had unemployment, right? So you gotta have.
He didn't keep him long, but yeah, he's finding out about income tax, and I have it here. He hates taxes. Gus is the hero of the film.
Yes,
technically, he's the hero and the villain. Good guy and the bad guy.
He's the hero in my book. And then he learns that each paycheck has half a fraction of a penny. And the penny, they get rounded down. And then the pennies just go off into whatever, cyberspace.
Yeah, I mean, back into the business's pocket.
Yeah. This becomes a major plot point in Office Space.
There are always fractions left over in big corporations, but they round it down to the lowest whole number.
This sounds familiar. Yeah, they did in Superman 3.
And they call it out. They're like, it's the same thing that happened in Superman 3.
Okay, all right. I figured Office Space was from the 90s. I haven't seen it in years.
Oh, dude, yeah, Office Space, because he comes up with the plan to steal all the money.
Yeah, okay.
That they wouldn't notice, and they mention it. They're like, yeah, it's the same thing they did in Superman 3. Yeah. It just does that. Only in Office Space, he ends up accidentally stealing millions of dollars. Yes, he's like, yeah, we stole a fraction of pennies, and then we did it 300,000 times.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he hacks the computer, and he's going to give himself a raise.
Smart man.
And then on the way to Smallville, Jimmy and Clark come across a chemical fire, and then Superman. Clark decides he has to switch into Superman.
Just happens to be there.
And keep in mind, he has super speed. He can run into a field. He can go behind a building.
Yeah.
No, he goes into a cop car, which has someone in it, and then comes out in the Superman suit. But here's the thing, like, the photo booth in this, I assume he's leaving his clothes behind.
Maybe he's, I guess, because you're not going to switch him to underneath, because then you'd see it. So, like, he stashes them somewhere.
And look, I know there's modern comics that say that he can, like, compact his clothes into a tiny ball or something.
Maybe.
Like, I know, but, like, they didn't say that in the movie, so fuck that. He's leaving his wallet and everything in the car.
Who's Clark Kent?
He just shoves him up his ass or something.
But I like the cop in the car is like, huh? What just happened?
Also, today that cop car would have a camera in it. you can't get out the. I happen to know a thing about cop cars. You can't open the back door.
Oh yeah, I guess Superman could.
Stuck in his Superman outfit. Like, excuse me, sir. Would you mind?
Can you unlock it?
I guess Superman could technically break the door, but
That's awesome.
so yeah, he switches into his Superman outfit to go help with this chemical fire.
Happened to be on the way to Smallville.
And yeah, Superman happens to be around Smallville when Clark Kent and Jimmy are there. But I love that this fucking killed me. Where everything's all chaos. Superman flies in. He's like, "Hey, sir, how can I help?" And the main firefighter is like, "Get this guy a hard hat." And he sees it's Superman. And he goes, "Oh, never mind, it's you." I'm like, how often does he see Superman? That he's just like, "Oh, sorry, it's Superman."
Also, what random stranger do you accept help from?
How can I help? Get him a hard hat. Oh, never mind, it's you,
Let's
Superman.
let him run into a burning building right now. Yeah, sure.
You can help by backing off and letting me do my job.
There you go.
I guess, like, of the two places on Earth, Superman probably would be in Smallville and Metropolis.
Yeah, but
Because, you know, he has family there. And, like, I'm just like, I get it, but, like, I just can't believe that a small town, like, fire chief would just be like, "Oh, it's Superman." I'm like, that's not a big shock. How often do you see it?
Thank God for the help. They shot this at an actual chemical plant.
Yeah.
That they rented and kind of, I guess, redid some parts of it and all that. But, like, they literally lit a chemical plant on fire.
That doesn't sound like the smartest thing in the world.
I mean, talk about, the union would be all over that shit nowadays, dude. Fucking, you're going to do what with how many chemicals in the air and this and that? Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, so he saves some workers with his smokestack that would kill them in a modern movie.
Kind of cool.
And Jimmy climbs a firefighter's ladder to take a better picture.
Yes, he does.
Jimmy sucks in this one. He's such an asshole.
I mean, they've taken, a lot of stuff away from a lot of good characters.
That's why they
and
threw
all
him in
that,
Supergirl after this. They're like, you go to Supergirl.
Is he in Supergirl?
He is in Supergirl.
That was on TV a couple weeks ago, and I caught like a little bit of it, but I didn't. Yeah, it was
Supergirl's
not
in
too
continuity with these.
much. Yeah, it was got into witches and I turned it off.
So Superman, he finds out that there's deadly acid in here, and if it gets exposed to heat, it'll cause like a cloud of death. And I love that the guy, Superman's like, "You gotta get out." He's like, "Oh, no, I gotta watch this acid.
Burn up.
Yeah, I gotta make sure it doesn't burn up." I'm like, well, what are you gonna do if everything around you on fire?
Those firefighters have to get in here. All right, then why are you standing here for 10 minutes? Go out there and tell them.
Yeah.
Why did you wait for someone to come in?
So he's like, "Yeah, if they get too hot, this is gonna be a problem." And then Jimmy falls like an idiot into the fire. And Superman really should just be like, "Fucking, I'm just leaving you there." He saves him. What do you know? It the water pressure goes off, and they can't put the fire out. So
Just like California.
Just like California.
Predictive programming.
Yep.
That's what this is.
Superman 3 was Mayor whatever her face was blueprint.
Oh, no.
So what is Superman gonna do, guys?
Blow the fire out, obviously. He's does that.
You would think, Manny.
I'm sorry. What, Manny? What are you talking
It's like a candle.
You want him?
impossible.
You want him to blow the fire out, or maybe like suck in all the oxygen that can't feed the fire?
Like what,
That's-
the penguin in the beginning of the movie, dude? No, it's impossible.
Manny,
It's impossible.
Manny, no. Obviously, what you do is fly to a lake
5 miles away.
5 miles away, freeze the top layer of the lake. I assume animals and stuff are in there, and then
Falling from the
and
sky.
then lift up the top layer of the lake like a disc, and then fly it to the chemical plant, and then drop it, and just hope that it melts before shards of ice start cutting everyone in half. And that's what it does. It turns into rain. I don't think there would be enough water to be rain. And it puts the fire out. That made the most sense to me, Manny.
Thoughts?
Yeah, crush it with the wall of ice. the same thing keeping us from spinning out to space or whatever the flat earthers believe.
No, the people beyond the wall, all right? The White Walkers. So there's a making of Superman 3 on YouTube that I watched a little bit of, and the writers talk about this part, and they were like, it was so fun to now try and figure out how we're going to have Superman save the day and put out the fire. And they were like, we were thinking of, all kinds of things. And I'm watching it like, that's what you That's what. How many other ideas did you have that's the one that you went with? Yeah, it was. Yeah, and when he goes to pick up the ice, the way that they did it with the I guess the CGI back then was
not CGI, but yeah.
Yeah, however whatever it was called back then. But the effects, but they kind of scribbled out they like erased the river when they shot it to make it look like it was ice or whatever. Yeah. But when he goes to pick up that sheet of ice, the lake is still the same.
Well, that's why I said it's the top
the
layer. I don't think he froze the entire.
I mean, when they show the side shot, it's still like a very thick.
I was going to say, I feel like you might be causing more problems, like draining a lake. I don't know what kind of problems there are with that.
I got a lot of beef with this film, all right?
Water's not an important resource. They fuck up a lot of water later on in the movie, too.
They really do. I will say, I remember, for some reason, I remembered the effects being way worse, but now I watch them in 4K. It's the same people did the effects in the first two. Yeah. I mean, they're obviously dated because it's the mid 80s, but they actually look fine. They don't. I think whenever I think of bad effects, I'm thinking of Superman 4, which does look abysmal.
It gets worse. I don't remember the last time I watched 4, so I'm in for a doozy.
I'm excited to talk about 4. I did it on Rental Reviews, but I'm excited to talk about 4 again.
Oh boy,
we're gonna go real into 4. But yeah, the effects look decent in this.
It looks like an 80s film. I mean, like you get that kind of vibe of through it all when you go back and watch the Terminators and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean it's on par with anything else that was out at that time. Yeah. So Clark shows up at his reunion, and he sees Lana Lang, who would end up playing Martha Kent in Smallville.
Yeah.
What's her name? Annette O'Toole, I think.
O'Toole. I do know.
I think it's Annette O'Toole. Yeah. She was also in It, the original It. She pops up in a lot of stuff.
Good looking chick.
Yeah, and we saw Lana in the first movie when they do his high school year. So it's cool that they brought her back because Lana is his first girlfriend in the comics. Yeah, he went from Lana Lang to Lois Lane.
My man's got a type.
He does.
Alliteration. But he hates Eminem.
But he hates Eminem. He loves Lana Lang, Lois Lane. But and then his bad guy is Lex Luthor. He really has a thing. The 3 most important people in his life have double L's.
Holy fuck, yeah, that's crazy.
He's trying to catch up with Lana Lang. We learned that Clark's mom died.
Yeah.
Which confused me because I think he's selling her house in the next one, and
Is he?
guess I misremembered. I thought she died in that one, but no, I guess.
I went to look up the actress to see maybe if she passed before that, but she lived till 2012, so I don't know.
No.
Maybe just not to have an extra character in there and have a problem with all that.
So she died, and he asked Lana about her breakup. He's simping pretty hard.
Oh, he's squeezing in.
He's simping pretty hard.
That's why he's not your normal Clark Kent anymore, baby.
He's got some bit of confidence. So a drunk bully annoys her. What's his name?
Brad.
Brad.
Yeah. He didn't seem like that bad a guy.
He really.
He just drank a lot and tried to get some pussy.
Yeah. He's trying to be the dad who steps up. It's just he happens to be an alcoholic.
Let me help you raise your kid. Jesus.
There's literally no one else. What are we supposed to do?
No. Yeah.
But I do like that Clark starts dancing to the previous song, not realizing a slow song has kicked in. He's like, oh. Sorry about that.
Oh shit.
Then Gus pays himself $85,000.
Smart man.
As an expense.
He probably shouldn't have put it under his name. Probably should have figured out a way to open a bank account under a different name. But.
That's like $3 billion in today's money, right?
A lot of money.
Well, probably not $3 million, but yeah, it's pretty high.
A lot of money.
Clark helps Lana clean up the gym, and they catch up a little bit. They're both single.
Yeah, there's a picture on the wall of Clark Kent without any glasses on. And he looks devilishly handsome.
Because he didn't have glasses in the high school scene in the first film.
Okay,
yeah.
It wasn't until,
He was also played by a different actor. Here it is just Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even get
his
the young high
headshot up on the wall, yeah. So
really
you look at it and you're kind of
like...
like...
in the first movie, it's like a young actor. But for this, like, just Christopher Reeve. His actual high school photo, probably.
Is that not Superman? Yeah.
No one puts the curly Q on it. Wait a minute.
Oh, my God.
Would you be able to tell Superman and Clark Kent apart?
No, all white people look the same.
Wow, well, that's offensive.
You didn't say
man.
Italians.
Yeah, you guys can tell.
Well, Italians aren't white, but still,
Yeah, exactly.
if I was white, I'd be offended, Manny.
We've gotten brothers before, actually. We have, and those people who commented out there know who they are. Yes, they do.
I like that Ross and his sister Vera, they find out about the missing $85,000.
Yes.
And like they theorized, like whoever did this covered his tracks really well. They're like, what are we gonna do? Keep paying him? It's like, well, if he's smart, he'll keep embezzling it, and we'll have no idea who he was. And he goes, unless, and like, this movie is fucking funny. He's like, unless he's a total moron. And then he looks out the window, and fucking Gus is driving like a new sports car.
It's the little things like that.
Also, Gus wrote the check in his name. All they had to do was
But it reminded me of Goodfellas when they steal all the money, and then like the guy buys his wife a fur coat, or like
Turn around, give it back, send it back.
But then Ray Liotta's like, I got the most expensive tree they had. It's like, this is how people get caught. This is how they get caught.
Shit, it's a mink coat. I don't give a fuck. Give it back. Oh shit, yeah, it's so good.
So Clark goes bowling with Lana and her son Ricky, I think was her name. Was his name?
Talk.
Huh?
Ricky Tikki Talk. It's another Eminem song. I don't. Yeah.
God damn it! I'm out of date on Eminem. Sorry. I watched his Donald Trump freestyle.
Nice.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot.
Not.
I forgot that Eminem did that, and it wasn't just Chris D'Elia. Brad wants to help teach the kid how to bowl.
Yes.
And Clark's like, nah, let him do it himself.
I mean, he was kind of being a douche about it, you know. Like, there's different ways of, teaching the kid, you know.
Yeah, and I have it here. He's the only kid in town without a dad. Brad's trying. He's really, really trying. But yeah, what you call it? Ricky goes to bowl, and then Clark sneezes and then blows the ball so hard that it shatters the pins.
And everyone's like, that 8-year-old boy's really strong.
They've been doing this in the Superman movies. where
Superman's son.
He's really bad at like hiding. Remember in Superman 2, the car hits him and then he keeps walking. The guy's like, what a weirdo. It's like, you're not going to be like, hey, how did you survive that? Are you Superman?
Yeah. I mean, you would think by this point of being Superman for so long that he could figure out a way to, be a little bit softer with it. But also, Ricky and Brad are standing right there. How did they not get shot down the alley as well?
The pins didn't need to explode. He could have just blew the ball a little fast.
Yeah, it didn't need to go forward with it. Or squeeze up. Excuse me, Ricky, let me help you. Okay.
He could have used super speed and just knocked the pins over.
Yeah, he could have.
Something, anything. That's where the writers decided, let's do this.
Let's blow him up. It's not going to be an issue for later.
But you're right. No one cares. They're like, well... Lana's like, God bless you. I don't think, what the fuck? Like, the bin shattered. How did that happen?
She's got to know. I'm like, I watched this and I was like, there might be a part of her that kind of knows that he's...
Well, she should be like, hey, remember that time in high school where we left you at the football field and then somehow you beat us home even though you don't have a car? And now bowling balls are shattering pins around. Are you Superman? That's what I would be saying.
It's kind of like in Man of Steel when the one guy who works at the IHOP knows that, who's Clark is, but he keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah, that's his friend from the comics.
Yeah, or the priest. What was it? The priest kind of knows, like, he's...
oh, God, I forgot about the priest.
Clark goes in to tell him, and ask him questions, and the priest is like, oh, my
Manny,
God,
what do you have more fun watching, Superman 3 or Man of Steel?
I haven't seen Man of Steel.
All right. That's probably the better answer.
I think you're gonna like. I think you're gonna realize Superman 3 is the better film.
Does Man of Steel have Richard Pryor in it?
It does not actually.
If you wanted to, I can make a cut for you. Somebody please help.
Honestly, Manny, it would have helped the movie. It would have helped any black comedian would have spiced that movie up. To be honest,
Lawrence Fishburne's in there.
They could have got
Lawrence
Kevin
Fishburne,
Hart.
but he's not funny. He's Superman's boss. They need to bring back Gus Gorman. In the new continuity, they need to bring back Gus Gorman. Manny, start pushing for it. I'm going to delete that thing. I want you to get James Gunn to cast you as Gus Gorman in the reboot.
Shit, we can, dude, you are illiterate as well. Illiterate. Gus Gorman, Manny Muskets, Eminem, dude, right here. That's where he got
alliteration. You just called him illiterate on accident, you asshole.
I'm gonna.
Frank does one episode with a black guy and he goes, alliteration.
All right.
It's a very similar one.
Where's my camera? Which one's my camera?
That one.
All right. I'll get you, Superman. You'll rue the day.
There you go. We got dark, gritty Gus Gorman.
Fuck, man. That's awesome.
I want to be Ross Webster. I want to be the white guy pulling your string. Yeah, Gus, you should make that program. Oh, okay. And Frank, you could be Brad the drunk. Anyway,
Pretty good at that. Not bad.
Gus gets called up to see the boss.
Yeah.
And this is where he introduces his yo-yo, which I think comes back in the finale.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's nervous. And he's like, oh, he knows why he's being called up there. And he's like, I just want to apologize. And I don't want to go to jail because jails has robbers and rapists and rapists who rape the robbers. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's not a chance that a PG movie today would have the words rapist
Great.
who rape the robbers.
Yeah. You can't even say that on social media these days.
We're probably censoring it in
Gotta
this
say it,
episode right now.
That's it. Oh shit, we are on social media.
Oh, dude.
But
I also like that he was such a good employee. He had plans for the volleyball team. It's like, that's what's important.
That's awesome.
And Webster, this is why I want to play Webster. He knows black people pretty well. He says,
What do the young folks say today? Dig where you're coming from, brother, huh?
Just your old rich white man.
yeah, I would have fun being that. Hey, Gus, I dig your style, homie. That's lit.
I can get you out of here at any time, man. I know a guy, all right?
We're remaking Superman 3, man. You know what? Let's take this idea. When Super Killer turns into a movie,
Oh, yeah.
maybe Super Killer 3, they'll get you to play a Gus Gorman type character. Frank,
I'm not familiar. Yeah,
Super.
sorry.
Oh, you're not familiar with Super Killer?
No.
Oh, probably because it's 3 years late.
You don't have your tchotchkes?
Frank,
Not at the moment. No?
Super Killer. I want to say like 2.5, 3 years ago was the first indie comic I ever pledged to, like backed on Indiegogo.
Nice.
My good friend Vito made it.
Yeah.
I pledged to 2 other comics since then.
Mm-hmm.
I now own physical copies of those other 2. I still don't have the first comic. But
Okay.
Vito's working really hard on the
To
comic.
get the first one.
Yeah, I still don't have Super Killer. My other friends who make comics, I got them on time. Can you believe it?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's going to come out, though.
Yeah.
Any one of these days.
Any
Who's
day
the
now.
writer?
Vito Giswaldi. You might know him on Twitter as guy who complains about Disney and doesn't work on his comic.
All right. Hey,
Yes.
good work, Vito.
You might also
also-
know him as guy.
Are you working on it as well? Are you part of this?
No.
No?
He doesn't want to work.
No,
with me.
Vito.
No? Why not?
Vito actually refuses to work with Manny.
Why?
Vito,
Why, Vito?
Vito kept hitting me up and a bunch of other people up to review Captain America 4,
Uh-huh.
but I was already doing it on my channel, and I suggested Manny, and Manny volunteered, and then Vito did it by himself.
All right. Where does Vito live?
Let's not talk about where Vito lives. It's a depressing story. Let's
yes.
go back to Superman 3.
Listen, Manny, I know a guy. You want to get this done? It's gonna be a done fucking deal before the morning, all right?
He once referred to Manny as that one.
Oh no!
Yes.
Oh no!
By the way, Vito is Italian, not
Deal's
cool
off.
ones like us.
Deal's off. We'll find you another deal.
I had to text Manny. I'm like, son of it, Vito just called you that one. He's like, I mean comedian. I'm like, no. He knows every one of his comedian friends' names. Suddenly, Manny comes up, and it's that one.
And they were talking about an absence of black people. It's like, no, that one might be there.
Oh, baby.
Superkiller.com. It's coming any day now.
I'm walking down that lane. Thank you.
And Super Killer 3 starring Manny. Anyway. So, he wants Gus to make computers do things that they shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
And he wants to control coffee beans. He's like, I'm trying to control all the coffee beans, but fucking Columbia won't play ball with me. So they're like, all right, so there's a satellite that monitors weather. But if it could be hacked, it could control the weather.
All right, let me break this down for you.
Okay.
So my man is big in international trade routes.
Yes.
And he decides to manipulate a black man into controlling his space laser.
Yeah.
His Jewish space laser.
Oh no.
I don't think we get the I don't think they mentioned if it was Jewish or not, but keep going.
So anyway, George Soros.
I knew the conspiracies were going to start.
Manny, I think you're confusing this.
You know, they really can manipulate the weather these days. And this was a little predictive programming that came out.
Who are they, Frank?
They, as in,
Those ones? Anyway.
those old conspiracy theories that we joke about all the time.
Welcome to the new Hack the Movies. We've rebranded as a conspiracy theory channel.
But if you sign up now, then you can come in, you can get all these multivitamins.
My vitality bills.
They're coming for
You know,
us.
this logo looks kind of...
It's an H.
It's an I.
Okay.
It's an I. That's an InfoWars coaster.
This looks like a Yay logo.
I gotta go.
That reminds me, Manny, can you just, I know you do it once every episode. Can you just refrain from being positive about Kanye for this episode? Let's let this current one blow over here. Anyway, yeah, so he wants to use this satellite. Oh, what?
Are you live?
No, but recording. What's up?
I need some help.
With what?
I need both of you.
What do you need?
My phone fell underneath the couch.
That's good.
I can't listen. I got it.
Now that we just heroically saved my dad's cell phone from underneath the couch, let's get back to Superman 3.
We should start a business. We'd kill it.
We really should. By the way, my dad pointed to them two, not me to help the phone. He's like, I need you two. I need two strong guys. What the fuck?
So I need someone to lift the couch, pointed directly at us. Looked at Tony and said, "You could stay here."
He said, Frank and that one. Let's get on. Again, space satellite going to manipulate the weather, but they have to hack into it. And they're like, all right, so you have to go to like one of the company's smaller offices to secretly do this. And they're like, we're going to send you to Smallville.
Somewhere small.
Yeah, somewhere small.
Yeah.
But before he gets to Smallville, we see at the Daily Planet that two people won the bingo contest.
Yes.
And he's like, wow, this is the biggest accomplishment ever. And his wife is like, what about me? And he's like, I don't really care about that. What was that?
Based.
So Gus shows up in Smallville, and finally our hero and villain meet in passing. Superman opens up the door and crushes Gus's balls, I think.
Legs are, yeah.
He hits him in the legs. He's like, oh! And then Gus keeps staring at a suit in like a window.
Yeah, I took that as like back in the 80s, like that was a weird looking suit. Like it's a country town, so it's like a country looking.
Yeah, or I
plaid
think he
suit.
just wants it because he's wearing it later. But I just like it kept confusing me. Like, is he worried about the mannequin or the suit? I don't understand.
I think it was him like wanting to blend in. Like he was like, "That's a weird suit," but then was like, "Oh, maybe I'll get it," because his facial expressions was like, "What is that?" But then he was like, "All right, let me blend in."
But yeah,
it's also funny that you say that the hero and villain meet because that's really what's happening.
It really is. This is their first meeting.
You don't see it like that because it's not Lex Luthor or Brainiac. It's just that's what it is.
I'll never forget people in the theater back then. They're like, finally, these two icons, Richard Pryor and Superman.
No, I won't go for this Gus land, okay? The villain is clearly Mr. Rothschild.
No, man, I think his name is Ross Webster.
Mr. Ross Webster.
Listen, man, I'd back you all the way, but I want to still be living tomorrow. So,
So anyway, Ross Shyster is the villain.
Anyway, so yeah, Clark and Lana go on a picnic, and Lana complains that there are no good men.
yeah, what kind of picnic is this?
Yeah,
They
picnic.
found the tallest grass, and there's no like nice grass in all of Smallville.
By the way, we see her house. It looks like she had a yard.
a
They could've
nice
just, like,
yard with a picnic table, probably. Yeah,
next to an active
just-
farm,
Yeah.
farm that's being like worked on.
I mean, I get that you needed like the farm in the background for the kid, but like bring in a weed whacker. Like, who did the locations for this scene? I don't know. That bothered. As soon as this came on, I was like, "This is where we're fucking picnicking." Yeah,
but yeah, so you're right. They're
I'm a
picnicking,
nitpicker.
and Clark, I guess, is in love with Lana, but wasn't he in love with Lois? And wouldn't he have to get rid of his powers if he wants to be with someone? Why is he even trying to date after what happened in the last
Well,
film?
this is Superman 3. He can have sex with his powers, baby. Yeah, we don't.
He
care.
does have sex with his powers
we're
in
cool.
this one.
We're cool, Clark Kent. Now we don't care anymore.
Yeah, he's over Lois. He gave her the mind erasing kiss, and he's like, "I'm on to the next one."
She couldn't handle me as Superman. Oh boy.
But yeah, before they can have a cute moment, she notices that her car is leaking oil, and then
That's very sexual innuendo, right?
yeah. But then Clark uses his super hearing, which is demonstrated by cartoon graphics coming out of his ear.
Is that the only time we ever see that?
Yeah,
Right.
it's weird because they've never done that before. Usually it's just like a close up on his ear, but they literally did like in a comic, I guess it's fine, but it's literally cartoony effects. I'm like, that's not a thing. But he hears the dog barking, Ricky's dog. We find out that Ricky hit his head on a rock.
Oh, I thought he just got real sleepy. I was,
Just Wizard of Oz fell asleep in a field.
yeah,
So sleepy.
I was so confused.
Have you ever been into like a big field before?
They also
I
don't
try to avoid the fields. I'm more of a house person myself.
Thank you for saying person, you asshole. Yeah, so he hit his head on a rock, and this big tractor is coming. And I was getting flashbacks to I was in a short film. I played an Amish guy. That's when my hair was blonde. You didn't know me yet at that point, but yeah, my hair was blonde, and we were filming in a cornfield, but like. They were mowing down the cornfield while we were filming, and like we just kept looking at these tractors cutting everything, and we're like, they know we're here, right? Like, are they gonna cut this? I like started getting worried while I was there.
Someone
like,
lifted you up so your blonde tips could poke through the
yeah.
corner.
So we're doing Kung Fu. It was called Kung Fu Springa. We were like, I think the trailer's still on YouTube. But yeah, we were doing like Kung Fu stuff, and then like a tractor would just go by. I'm like, we're all gonna get shredded and die. So I really related to this scene.
This was probably in between me knowing you because I knew you very young.
Yeah.
And then we didn't link up again for years later.
Yeah,
He used to pick on my sister, so
I did.
that's the whole thing.
She kind of deserved it. She kind of sucked. I mean,
Well, yeah, she's a female.
I hope she's not listening.
she doesn't watch episodes she's not in, and she hasn't been in an episode.
If she's listening, you don't have to worry about Rothschild, man. Oh boy. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Clark's like, I gotta go save that kid. And clearly this means I need to dress like Superman.
Well, to get out there quick enough, I guess.
I feel like he could have done a lot sneakily.
My man just has a public changing fetish.
He really does. And I love how he's running like on the other side
For
of
that like millionth of a split second that his dick's out. He's like, freedom.
yeah, he's running along a fence, and it's like this weird effect of him turning into Superman. And then he goes to the field. Now he could just pick Ricky up and move him. And he's like, nope, I have to destroy the tractor.
Yeah.
And then pick him up. And it's like, you asshole, you didn't have to do that.
He also looks really pissed at the teenager driving the tractor. He was like, how dare you do your job? Had not seen this small child in the tall grass.
Yeah, he's like that. It was like, he has no idea. There's no way he could have possibly known.
The driver's like, who picnics out here?
The guy should be mad. They're like, well, Superman, tell him to fuck off. He's not supposed to be here. But yeah, Superman returns.
Not until 2006.
Fuck you. Superman returns. He brings the kid back. Okay, and Lana's like shocked meeting Superman. Unlike the firefighter who was like, oh, yeah, it's just Superman.
But she's not head over heels like Lois Lane.
No.
She's not like, I want to, love you for the rest of my life. She's
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, wow.
Oh my God, it's Superman. Thank you for helping my boy. She's like, oh, by the way, I got to introduce you to my friend Clark. He's like, I have to go. So he flies away, and then we see Clark was pretending to pull a dog out of a pipe, and he's like, oh, did I just miss Superman? Classic Clark Kent shit.
The kid's like, can I get your autograph? And he's like, or can you get Superman's autograph for me? And supposedly he ad-libbed this line where he says, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that. He improv that one through.
Because he probably did get asked that a lot. We have Gus trying to break into the computer office, which the security is good old drunk Brad.
I love it.
And somehow Gus has intel on Brad. I'm not sure. But what did you think of Gus's white voice, Manny?
I thought it was just an authoritative voice.
No, whenever I hear black comedians do a white voice, this is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Can you do one?
No, I only have the one voice. I could change it.
When he's like, oh, yes, the computer here, blah, blah, blah. They always make us sound like nerds.
I thought that he was, just being a little bit overly professional about it.
Like, the boss man's going to be mad.
But he gets Gus fucking loaded, and they're wearing cowboy hats and shit.
Yeah, there's a point where when they're still at the doorway, Brad is screaming at the top of his lungs for him to hear him, and then and Gus is just talking regularly.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like, wait, who do you have to scream to hear each other? Or
Also,
it was
Gus was actually getting drunk. I would have pretended to get drunk. I wouldn't have actually gotten drunk.
But he acted like he has the line where he's like, oh yeah, you thought I was drinking with you, and then he stumbles out.
Yeah, he gets up and he just stumbles, and this scene goes on
That's good.
for a while. He goes to drunkenly operate the computer, but it has 2 keys you have to put in.
What's
He's like,
the business that we're breaking into again?
computer.
Why is there a military level computer in
computer
this place?
We don't know, but he has his foot on one, his hand on the other. He can't get it, so he drags Brad in there and strings up a pulley system to make sure they can put the keys in at the same time.
Is that his yo-yo?
With his yo-yo.
Yo-yo, there
yes.
it is. Yeah, it comes back.
Another reason why he's the smartest guy in the movie.
Yeah.
Smartest guy in the room.
But yeah, so you're right. What was this computer? Because somehow it rings up people's Bloomingdale bills, and this husband, he throws food in his wife's face when he looks at how much she's been using. And then it also messes up traffic lights to the point the green man and the red man on the lights will fight each other.
Yeah.
And cause a huge traffic jam.
I mean, we're really diving into the comedic aspect of it, and I get it, but I feel like this one really jumps the shark a little bit on it.
It gets a little cartoony.
A little goofy.
However, him messing up with the computer makes the ATM shoot out a bunch of money for a guy. And in Zack Snyder's Justice League, Cyborg manipulates computers to give a girl a bunch of money.
It's prophetic.
Richard Pryor was the blueprint, not Zack Snyder.
It was still the blueprint.
No, Zack Snyder ripped off Superman 3. He's a hack. He's a hack.
It's not a rip off. It's just it's an honor. What's it called?
No, it's not an homage. He ripped
That's the
off
word.
Superman 3. He saw that scene. He was all like, nah, I'm going to steal it for myself. So yeah, he finally activates the satellite after, I don't know, destroying the world. And it messes up Columbia as the Daily Planet employees show up to go on their vacation.
Question about this, by the way.
Yeah.
With the original line, when he says that he's like #2 coffee in the world, whatever it is, and he exports out of Colombia, there's a pause there before he says the word coffee earlier in the film. It's really cocaine we're talking about here, right? Like it's not actually.
Yeah, it was like Colombia has 2 exports.
Yeah.
Coffee is the most important one.
Yeah. That's what it is. So we're not talking coffee through this whole film.
I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up on that.
Colombian.
See, this movie has layers and subtext. That's why I think it's underrated. It's very
this whole thing's actually connected to Scarface.
They now have all the coffee beans that they won, and Ross is celebrating on his ski slope on top of his skyscraper.
Snow, dude.
He has
Snow.
a ski slope on top of his skyscraper.
Remember the second one? The whole thing was about blowjobs. This whole movie?
It's about cocaine. You're saying he's on cocaine? He's just skiing through.
He's just skiing in his mansion, hitting the slopes as they call it.
A chance of flurries in Metropolis.
So then he decides, hey, the coffee bean thing worked out so well. We got to go after oil next.
Yeah.
But bad news. Gus shows up and he's like apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry. They're like, what are you talking about? It worked great. He's like, no. Superman came and he starts acting out everything Superman did.
And he landed right in the middle of this big plantation.
He's like, and then he got a tornado, and he like puts the tablecloth on his neck, and he's acting it all out. And then they start to make a plan to kill Superman, and then Lorelai suggests kryptonite. There's like this funny gag where she's pretending to be dumber than she is. She's actually really smart.
Yeah,
but she's just pretending to be dumb.
But we also it never pays off. There's no payoff of her being.
Yeah, it really leads
really
to
smart.
nothing.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done something with it. But sorry.
It's just 80s feminist agenda.
But yeah, so they're like, all right, we're gonna need to figure out how to like scan
big boobs and big hair.
Yeah.
They want to scan kryptonite in space and figure out the materials it's made out of and recreate it on Earth. And then Gus is like, all right, I'll do it, but I need a raise. Unfortunately, negotiations are cut short because then he skis off the building and somehow lives.
This is what is that? 20, 30 stories?
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, he landed on another part and skied. I'm like, he would have shattered his knees on that.
Do you ski, Manny?
No. Well, what type of ski?
We're not. Whoa. This is a kid's show, all right?
But is this where he develops his fear of heights? Like, because for the rest of the movie, he's scared of heights, and then
although I would know, I'd be like, holy shit, I just survived that. I can survive anything.
I thought Superman was going to come in and save him. I haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I was like, oh, Supes comes in.
No, this is when I was a little kid, this was the most memorable scene. Whenever I think of Superman 3, I think of the scene where I'm like, oh yeah, he just skied off a building and was totally fine.
Yeah. Lois jumps out the window in what, the second one?
The Donner cut of 2, and he saves her.
But that's just the awning.
The awning, but he also
hits, right?
shot wind to make sure it like slowed her down. No, Richard Pryor just full
You're
speed.
on your own, kid. Yeah.
And then he just walks across the street in the skis. I'm like, where's he going? Doesn't he have to go back to the building?
The way they shot this whole thing, they built that whole rooftop in a studio, which was insane. I mean, that's awesome. And then had a stunt double rolling down the glass part of it all, then onto the street. But the way they shot is pretty cool. There's a making of this on YouTube, and it's a good watch. Also, through the whole film, Christopher Reeve does all of his own stunts and like. Including Richard Pryor and all that, like they're really thrown around, and a lot of them do their own stunts.
Manny, will you be doing your own stunts?
Crazy.
Of course.
In Super Killer 3?
Let's go.
I got action moves.
So they scan the kryptonite in space. Don't ask how they did it, but they scan it, but there's an unknown element.
Yeah.
And they're like, shit, our kryptonite is incomplete. Gus is like, oh, screw it, we'll throw tar into it.
Yeah.
Just anything.
Why didn't he have to go to Smallville to do this one?
Oh, there's a reason.
Is there?
Because Clark is back at the office writing his article. And I do like, we see like the employees come in and chew Perry out. He's like, it was an act of God. Like, we were in a church, blah, blah. And then it pans over to Clark writing.
I'm saying Richard Pryor, Gus. Why doesn't he?
Wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm explaining why he ends up in Smallville.
I'm sorry.
Lana rings him up and she says, hey, Ricky told everyone in this school that Superman was going to hang out with, was going to show up for his birthday.
Yeah.
And it's like, you think you could do that? And Clark's like, God damn it. Yeah, you know what? Superman will be there.
My question though is when Gus had to do the weather thing, he had to go to a small town to do that on the computer.
Oh no, I don't think he did the weather thing in Smallville.
Yeah, when he had Brad's
Yeah, that's
arm
the
with the
whole
key,
reason.
and that's the reason why he
Oh.
went, was to not do it on a computer from
Oh no,
from the boss's
But then I guess
place.
the other satellite
He kind of
to scan kryptonite
shut
was a
it
different
down
one.
from there.
How many space lasers do these people have?
But like it can't be tracked from their big corporation anymore. So he's like, you don't have to go to a different building to
No, guess
to
not.
do it. Yeah, sorry.
Stop poking holes in this perfect film.
Listen, I feel like that's the only thing I really poked holes on. I keep hitting this.
You're like that's the only problem with the movie. Other than that, it's flawless. Okay, so yeah, he says that Superman will be there for his birthday, and then Gus gets his kryptonite, and Superman shows up in town, and turns out I thought you meant like how did Gus know Superman was going to be there?
Yep,
it's because the whole town throws on a whole festival for Superman because he saved them from the chemical fire.
You think Lana tricked him into coming?
Yeah.
And one boy. Like, here's you did one good thing. Here's the key to the city.
Yeah. And then Gus shows up as a military guy, and he's talking about plastics for a while.
Yes.
And it's like something about chemicals and blah, blah, blah. And it just leads to, thank you, Superman. And we're going to gift you this green crystal, which Superman should be like, is that kryptonite? You know I can't have that.
He's seen that before. So this whole movie is about climate change and destroying our Earth.
Yeah, I guess so.
If you really, I mean, the weather machine,
Yep.
the oil spill, the whole plastic spit bit that he goes on for 2 minutes about. I mean, really, people need to start opening their eyes.
I guess so.
Corporate greed is the bad guy.
Corporate greed is the bad guy.
It's got a black main character. If YouTube existed at this time, do you think people like Vito would be complaining about this movie?
Of course.
But people always complain. They're like, oh, you know, everything that comes out these days is trying to push this or push that. But
No, it's always been a thing.
It's always been that way, yeah. Like,
It's just more annoying now, but it's always been a thing.
Yeah, there's always been an agenda behind film.
Yeah. But yeah, he gives him the kryptonite, but it doesn't kill Superman. And I couldn't believe this, but Gus is mad. Or no, Ross is mad at Gus. And he goes,
I asked you to kill Superman, and you're telling me you couldn't even do that one simple thing.
motherfucker, it's Superman.
These guys love overworking their employees.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what made
Well,
you?
he thought he was very capable of doing it. What's the problem?
He's the strongest person in like the galaxy, and you thought other Supermen couldn't stop Superman. You thought Richard Pryor was gonna. Richard Pryor comes close.
Why are you poking holes in this, Tony? It's a comedy, remember?
I just mean the main character. It's like, why couldn't he do that?
For zero money, I want you to kill the strongest man on earth.
Honestly, I think I got the biggest chuckle out of that line because it's like it's a throwaway kind of funny, you know.
Do me a favor, Manny. You know the mountain from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
After this, can you hunt him down and beat him in a fight?
Of course.
All right. If
Anything
you
for
lose, I'm going to
Tony.
be real disappointed that you didn't beat the mountain in a fight.
Okay, but I need a raise before we do that.
I got a ski set over there.
And I got the snow.
All right.
I get a text, Manny died. I'll be like, he couldn't beat the mountain. How dare he? What a beta.
God.
So Lana invites Superman over for decaffeinated coffee.
Yeah.
Decaffeinated, of course. And he's like, oh, well, okay. Was there like a thing with decaffeinated coffee at the time? This feels like a timely thing that we're not clued in on.
It's another Colombian coffee joke.
I guess so.
yeah.
I guess so.
Maybe they were doing lines of decaffeinated cocaine. Maybe that was it.
So wait, so she gets a call, and while that's happening, Superman's like, oh, wait, what just happened to me? Something with the kryptonite has affected him. And she goes, oh my God, Superman, you'll never believe it, but there's a truck hanging off the side of a bridge, and the guy's gonna die. And Superman's like, that's okay. I'll get there in time. I always get there in time. Let's hang out and relax. And then the scene gets real uncomfortable. And I'm like, I don't like where this is going. He's like, you're such a beautiful lady and blah, blah. And she's like, Superman, what about the truck? And he goes, what truck? And then like it hits, he's like, oh shit, that's right on Superman. And then he flies all the way out there, and actually it was a pretty cool stuff. They literally dropped a truck off a fucking bridge. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
And he gets there and he's too late.
Yeah, I mean, but we're very lucky that scene on the couch didn't go on any longer.
Yeah.
That was a little much.
I like how Superman starts doing kryptonite and immediately gets no bitches anymore.
He gets one. He gets one.
Yeah, I don't know about
But yeah,
that.
no. So this man dies, and there's nothing Superman can do, Frank. He can't go back in time.
Does he die on the bridge?
I think
Somebody
the guy dies.
No, I thought that they said that they saved him, but you were still too late for the truck.
No, I think he died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And there's nothing Superman can do.
Shit.
He can't just spin back the Earth and go back in time. That just isn't a thing that he can do.
Well, he's also evil now.
It's true.
At that point.
Also, this confused me about the movie. Didn't red kryptonite already exist? Like, isn't there...
I think in the comics, all right. Kryptonite in the comics does whatever the writer needs it to do at that time. Yeah. But there is different colored kryptonite. And I think classically red is the one that alters his mood, I think.
That one turns him horny and evil.
Apparently, although like in the movie it's not red, it's just green. It's just fake kryptonite.
But I mean, it's also like they added tar. It's like a man-made type of kryptonite, which really shouldn't do anything to
and I
begin
think
with, but, it's a little...
I think when I was reading, I think gold kryptonite just takes away your power. Because I do have that comic where like Lex Luthor shoots a bunch of evil Kryptonians with gold kryptonite and like kills them. It's
in the second one, everything turned red and he lost his power.
Well, that's the red sun, the red sun from Krypton, which just makes him into a normal person.
Yep.
But yeah, so he's getting a little moody right now. So yeah, then for no reason, he goes to Italy.
The first thing he does
when he's evil, when he's full on evil. Are you turning evil? Are you what? You had a costume change? Oh no! What is that?
My Leaning Tower of Pisa shirt that I wanted to bring. Italia Vice City. Yeah, this was I got this like 20 years ago in Italy for some reason when I was playing a lot of GTA and thought it was cool. Yeah. I was going through my stuff today and I was like, do I have any Superman shirts left? And I was like, but I have a Leaning Tower of Pisa shirt, which is extremely straight.
Yeah, it is. Oh yeah. So he flies to Italy and goes, oh fuck it, I'm gonna straighten out the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
What a move.
And we see this poor Italian man whose business is to sell statues of the Leaning Tower. Yeah. And Superman destroys an Italian man's business. This is when the movie started to lose me, Frank.
Yeah. I mean, I was upset that it was the first thing that he decided to do. Really? Oh, okay, we're evil now. Let me fly right to Italy and destroy something beautiful over there. Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's technically fixing it, but still, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way. So, I mean, it just, it kind of baffled me a little bit. Also, I was trying to get a gist of what they were saying.
Yeah.
I speak a little bit of Italian. But the dialect was like so kind of different that I had no idea. All I knew was at the end when Superman flies away, he screams "Stronzo Superman," which is like he pretty much calls him an asshole.
Yeah,
like that's it. You piece of shit, Superman.
Did we have our translator translate what he said?
So I did send the scene over to my sister Trisha Volpe. I don't know if anyone out there remembers
Trisha from Hack the Movies, formerly.
Yes, formerly known as
who
Trisha.
Came back after a year and a half, did one episode, and then got pregnant again.
Well, it actually. I was always known as Trisha's brother from Hack the Movies.
Yeah.
It took me a good 2 to 3 years to break in and be Frank from Hack the Movies. And there's still people commenting out there today. They're like, is that still Trisha's brother on there? Yeah.
Well,
I know. I'm just
now she's Frank's sister.
Yeah. Woo! Until she comes back. Then everyone's going to be like, who's Frank again?
And you're the most consistent black guy on the show. How's that
feel? It's good to have no competition.
My sister, I threw it out to her, and the one guy says to the other, "How did your mother make you?" In the beginning, when I guess he starts to do it, and my sister said, "In the beginning, and the rest is a dialect that I don't understand, and neither does her husband Sal. Not sure why." That's some personal stuff.
What?
Never mind. We were kind of fighting a little bit earlier, so yeah.
Wait,
I didn't want to get into the rest
of
the
so you're fighting with your sister, and then in between fighting, you go, by the way, what does this guy say in Superman?
So she... Trisha, I'm sorry. I love you. I know that I didn't respond to your text the other day and you were upset about it. And then out of the blue today, I just sent her the video and I said, hey, can you translate this for me? Because I have no idea what they're saying. And I had to text her 20 times to get a response. And that was my response that I just got. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just fake Italian.
Anyway,
the guy only knew the word stronzo at the end. Yeah, that was it.
So yeah, Superman hates Italians apparently. How do you feel about this scene, Manny?
Yeah.
I relate.
All right, so the bad guys realize that their plan kind of worked, and they're like, okay, we can go after oil. He's not going to stop us.
Yeah.
Then we see that the Olympics are happening, and the guy's running with the eternal flame, and he goes to light the big bowl, and Superman blows it out. And Superman looks bored. He's like, ha.
Yeah.
I'm kind of enjoying evil
Doesn't
Superman.
even gloat. Doesn't even gloat.
Doesn't even gloat. He just flies away. I don't even think anyone even knew Superman did it.
Yeah.
This is also the second time in the film that he blew out fire very easily.
Yeah.
But couldn't have done it.
Now, what if he dropped a lake on top of that guy?
He drowns him right there in the bowl.
Also, predictions. There's an episode of King of the Hill where they have the fire for up the Olympic torch going out.
I love King of the Hill. I'm worried about that reboot.
They're rebooting it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, but the guy who played Dale, who's the best part of King of the Hill, died before he could record all his lines.
But so he started recording it and they didn't finish it. Wow.
And when I saw that, I'm like, cancel the show. You don't have a show. You do not have a show. Cancel it.
Wow.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they've done it before, but
I love Ross's giant map in his floor that folds out. That was cool as fuck. And yeah, so he's showing him like the different like trade routes and whatnot. Gus starts to feel a little bad about messing up the world's oil. Just kidding. He's mad he's not getting paid enough to do it. Like for a moment, I'm like, oh, is he going to be redeemable? And he's like, well, you know, unless you could get something for me. And it's like, what an asshole. So he wants a giant computer made. He has like the blueprints and everything.
Man. Smart man. I don't know how he figured out if he was just where was he working before this, and he figured out how to draw out and create a whole super Brainiac like computer.
He's basically Brainiac.
Technically,
he's Brainy Black.
All right, come on back next week for a little bit of Hack the Movie. Yeah, right.
I just realized this is our first time doing an episode with a third person.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I popped your cherry.
I was scared how the third person was going to be when it was supposed to be that white girl or the final girl. I was like, I don't know if she's going to be ready for Manny.
Oh, no, we're still doing that episode at some point. Yeah. We're still doing
She's very sweet. She's very nice.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So all of the oil tankers are told to just go to some random place in the Atlantic and wait.
Yeah, because they're run by computers.
Yes, but the one guy is like, I'm not doing that shit. We're going to Metropolis.
Yeah.
So the bad guys have a plan. They put their boozy broad up on the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, not the Eiffel of Liberty.
Thank God.
Which I kept fucking up in the last episode.
You should have just stuck with that and said the Eiffel of Liberty. Yeah. I would have ran with you.
So she's just posing up there. And Superman's flying. They all think she's going to jump. And
how'd she get there?
She climbed up. I don't know.
There's a bunch of steps.
Yeah, but can you get on the head of the Statue of Liberty?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, those people know how to get to the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, right.
But I love Superman shows up. Wait, Superman shows up and he's like, I hope you're not looking to get rescued because I don't do that anymore.
Dude, all you got to do is add a little bit of eyeliner and you're a bitch for the rest of your life.
But yeah, he's got the hots for Lorelei there. He's like, what's up, lady? And she's like, wow, I'm real into you. But
puffing the chest.
But she's like, one thing that make me really happy is if you go mess up this oil tanker for me. He's like, okay, babe, no problem.
Next thing you see is him just speeding through the ocean.
He speeds through the ocean, flies around the tanker, and then just fucking punches the thing and just leaks all the oil.
Simper, man.
Yes. Also, his suit is now all desaturated now.
Yeah.
Which looks like, I mean, the advertisements, they brightened it up. But in the actual movie, Superman Returns, they made his colors like desaturated. And like, my brain kept going to Superman 3. I'm like, wait, is he the bad guy? So yeah, then he meets her on top of the ski lodge. And Superman gets fucking laid to like saxophone music and shit. This is pretty intense for a kid's film, I think.
Also, like, if I wanted to make money, I would have invested in Dawn soap right before.
Does he fly? Does he fly so fast that the oil just comes off of him?
I guess so.
He was like, "Let me stay oiled up for this bimbo."
Also, it's they take all the oil in the world and put it in one place. Yeah. But then it's like those ships need gas and oil to move. They're gonna run out of gas. Like, what happens?
Can't they just drill more oil as well? Yeah, it gets a little. But yeah, I mean, it is a kids' movie here.
Yeah,
but like, you know, it's a Superman movie.
You rarely see the superhero getting it on with the bad guy's side piece. Like, that's weird for a kid's superhero
It's not
film.
Lois Lane. It's not Lana. It's, you're just like, whoa. What's this woman's name again?
Lorelai.
Lorelai.
Yeah.
No, every James Bond movie it happens.
Yeah, well, James Bond, I guess, but those are not really meant for younger kids.
He's a bad man. He's got a little dark side to him, but
yeah, this
the
starts,
80s now, baby. Sorry.
This starts messing up the world. People are beating the shit out of each other over oil. They're like getting into fights.
Just in Smallville, but
yeah. And then Gus's computer starts to get made. He's happy about that, and then. Drunk Brad he's calling up Lana, being like, give me a chance. And she's like, fuck you, I'm going to Metropolis. I'm getting out of Smallville.
Flight to Metropolis tomorrow, please. Yeah.
And then we get probably one of the more famous scenes of the movie. Drunk Superman at the bar, flicking peanuts at the glass bottles. Which there was an episode of Supergirl where they hit her with red kryptonite and she became evil, and she literally did the same thing.
Also, can Superman get drunk?
Yeah,
depends on again the media. Of,
the writers and everything.
Yeah, type of comic and all that. Because in the Arrowverse they couldn't. The scientists made at Star Labs. What I was reading, they made a special concoction for Barry Allen.
Yeah, because like there was an episode where the Flash did try to get drunk and only lasted for a second.
So then he made him this concoction, and he's running around the bar going, "I'm the Flash." It's one of my favorite moments, and everyone's like, "He's the Flash, yeah!" But he's like, "No, I really am the Flash."
But then there's like a Captain America there. He has that line where he's like, my metabolism works too fast, I can't get drunk. So it depends. I think it depends on the writer or the continuity. But I think Superman can get drunk usually.
Also, he was weakened by kryptonite or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's weakened a little bit. Yeah,
so
I'm the Flash. Sorry.
So Lana shows up in the city right as Superman's stumbling out of a bar yelling at everyone.
Yeah, also, Lana can't afford her heat bill. All of a sudden, she's like, "Yeah, I can just fly to Metropolis for no reason."
She's also like on the train at one point, just talking to her kid, going, "So we'll go to the zoo tomorrow." And it's like, bitch, when are you getting a job? Not a bitch, sorry.
What we don't see is that she found a matchbook in a deleted scene and became a computer program.
Called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So yeah, the kid's just like, Superman, you're just in it right. It'll get better. Be good again. And of all the people on Earth, little Ricky is the voice of reason who gets through to Superman.
Kill him, man. Lois,
it's funny that Superman didn't go to Bermuda and give Lois a piece of his mind. I wanted to see that scene. Hey, lady.
I'm not losing my powers to bang you this time. Whoa.
So yeah, then we get the next most popular scene, the Clark versus Superman fight. Yeah. Classic. I don't think he's actually fighting a physical manifestation, although there is kryptonite that can clone Kryptonians. That's like a weird thing that can happen.
Yeah, I took it as like a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yes, it's like an internal battle, but he probably is destroying that junkyard and ruining that business. He loves ruining
like
businesses.
Fight Club.
Yeah, just like Fight Club. Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Richard Lester was the blueprint. David Fincher ripped off Superman 3 when he made Fight Club.
That's it. Yeah. Think about all the films that ripped off this movie, dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
that 10-minute scene just branched off to Fight Club.
So they're beating the shit out of each other.
They're going to town. This is in this scene, like Christopher Reeves does all of his own stunts through.
Yeah.
Which is you could if you watch the making.
But he's
of
doing
it,
double
you can
duty
see it
too.
all.
He's switching back and forth.
Doing double duty.
Yeah.
I mean, they have his guy switching back, his stunt guy switching outfits back and forth. And I mean, this took a little while to shoot. They actually they shot this in London, but they needed, which is crazy. I mean, all these movies, not like hardly any of it was shot in America. It's not Truth, Justice, the American Way, but they needed a whole bunch of American cars.
Yeah.
So they found a junkyard that specialized in it, and I guess maybe had to pay the guy a little extra to turn his junkyard into a movie set so that they could have American cars on there. And really, the part where he's getting crunched by the trash compactors.
Yeah.
Star Wars reference.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually did it on the trash compactor and built something on the inside of it around it. And Christopher Reeves was actually inside of it.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And actually did these things like on these big machines. Like I was kind of shocked.
It's pretty
seeing
impressive.
behind the
It is.
scenes. Yeah.
It is a good fight scene. But the thing I really learned from this, like he's throwing him to acid, the compactor. What I take from this scene is, I don't think Superman knows his powers that well because he could survive all of this.
What got me is Clark Kent just survives the trash compactor.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I know what will stop Superman. Some tires.
Yeah, the boiling acid couldn't do it, but rubber tires will.
I got to figure it out. This is it.
Enough space he could have just flown out of him. He didn't need to break his way out.
He drops the magnet on him and it crushes that dummy into the ground. That was cool as hell.
That's Christ, dude. They really shot the tire thing too. When you watch it, he's really throwing those tires, and then they have a bunch of tires up above him, and then they just drop one by one. Vroop, 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 vroop. And it's like, wait, you spent so much time on this, and you knew this was a good idea. Like, come on.
But it's a fun scene to see Clark fight Superman, and in the end, Clark wins.
Yes, he does.
And then the music kicks in, and his suit is somehow back to normal, and also he put his human clothes on top of it. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but he's Superman again because Ricky told him to stop being mean.
I also think the fake kryptonite just wore off.
It could have just been a coincidence, to be honest.
He just hit a point, and he was like, oh, God. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And the first thing he does is go back to the oil ship and blow all the oil back into the tanker.
Listen, if we want to talk about jumping the fucking shark, this is, I mean, the rest of it, all right, I know, I picked it apart, this and that, but I watched this scene, and I really looked at the TV, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
What's wrong? He's blowing all the oil back into the tanker. Is there a problem there?
Manny, thoughts?
The physics work out.
I did the math.
And then he uses his heat vision to weld the outside of the thing, which is covered in oil, and it doesn't blow up.
It doesn't blow up. That one hurt. Yeah. But again, it's a comic book, and you have fun with it, and you enjoy it. It is what it is. But that one, I'm gonna go after a little bit.
So then he decides, you know what? I bet that blonde girl set me up for failure. I'm going to go to that ski lodge. And the bad guys just assumed that he would be there.
Yeah.
And they're like, come and get us, Superman, if you can. It's like, why are you taunting Superman?
So through this whole movie, right? The whole fucking thing, if they didn't record this video and put it in that room, nobody would have ever known who was doing any of this.
No.
Yeah.
Nobody. They could have gotten away with it totally fine. They never meet they never meet face to face, the heroes and the villains. It's just who is doing the detective work? That's why you need Lois Lane in this film.
I know.
Because someone would be doing the detective work.
Jimmy can't do it because he injured himself in the beginning of the film.
Sorry, I went on a rant there, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
So, what was that?
For the rest of the movie, I just have so many questions about how Superman knows everybody's backstory.
Like, what is happening?
So they get to the location where the computer is, and they have to fly balloons into the valley where the computer is.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, how did all the construction crew get down there? Did they also fly balloons in there? Well, they all fly in there except for Gus, who takes a donkey. Yeah. He's like, I'm not getting that death trap.
So they really shot this balloon thing. They had 3 stunt people on this triangle thing that has balloons and the things on them, and then he hooked it to a helicopter, and they really flew them over the Grand Canyon and down to the ground, which was kind of not the real actors, but stunt people really did that. Yeah, it was kind of.
I don't know why they needed that at all, to be honest. It seems like a waste of time.
Yeah.
But the computer is gigantic. Like I said, I think they filmed this in the 007 stage, so it is huge.
I say $1 million to make this.
Yeah. And then Vera decides Vera reveals, she's like, I've been studying computers. I know what to do. You do this, this, this. And even Lorelai's like, yeah, and you could do this. I mean, what? I'm not smart.
Yeah. Why did we need Gus?
At this point, they don't.
I mean, he designed the whole thing.
He did.
All right,
Superman arrives, and they start shooting missiles at him, and he's dodging the missiles. And a lot of this is shown to us through an Atari screen. Apparently, Atari worked on this sequence, but we see a little computer graphic Superman dodging missiles.
I read something somewhere that there was a possibility, I heard it somewhere, there's a possibility that the third one would have been him getting stuck in a video game or something like that, Superman, cool. And a whole thing. But this was I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm not even
you were gonna say great?
Perfect.
This whole end sequence, like, it feels like in Wild Wild West, where they just take.
Don't you break my heart, Manny.
The mechanical spider. It's a bunch of stuff from other movies.
Wait, Manny. You know the mechanical spider was a holdover from the unmade Superman movie.
Was supposed to be from a Superman movie. Yeah, Kevin Smith.
The producer told Kevin Smith that the Superman movie he was working on needed a giant spider. The movie never got made. That same producer worked on Wild Wild West, and he made sure to get his giant spider. That's why in the Flash movie, when it shows the Nicolas Cage Superman, he's killing a giant spider. It's a callback to that, because that's a famous story that Kevin Smith says. And Kevin Smith is like, I was in the theater and I saw the producer's name, and I'm like, that son of a bitch got his giant spider.
Which might be my favorite Will Smith movie of all time. Shoot me. I don't care. I love it. Oh, God, it's so good. Wicka Wild Wild West. Jim Rest. Desperado.
Wait. After...
No, you don't want Nato.
What you call it? Before this episode, I think I put out my What is the Worst Men in Black movie episode.
Nice.
Did all 4.
Nice. The one with ladies.
I mean, there's ladies in all of them, but
no. I guess. No.
There's a Ladies in Black movie or something.
No, the new one had like a main lady, but that was it.
Oh well, okay. Anyone where ladies are the film, the woke one.
Anyway,
the one that Vito wants to complain about.
That was Men in Black International. They went to Foggy London Town. I thought you would like that one the most.
Foggy London Town.
That's all we call it, Foggy London Town. No. Joanna gave me shit for saying Foggy London Town so much. I'm like, Manny calls it that. That's what we're calling it. The video game graphics, hilarious. Very timely.
He scores points when he shoots the missiles as well.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. They're shooting. By the way, it's the most armed canyon in all the world. Just 1 million rockets. Then there's like a giant missile that targets Superman. It totally knocks him out. Gus arrives, and he's so happy to see his computer. He's like, my baby! Oh my God, it's great! Superman shakes off that missile that hit him. He arrives, and I like the girl's like, hi, Superman. He goes, I don't know you, lady.
Just brushes that off real fast.
Just totally goes super pretend. She's like, but he's like, nope, that wasn't me. That was someone else. I don't know you.
Whatever it was, it wasn't me.
We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Today she would be able to cancel him.
Oh, yeah.
She would have pictures on her phone. She's like, look what Superman did.
Screaming grapes.
Yep. He would get me too. That'll happen in Super Killer 3, starring Manny Musket.
Oh, God. Why do I come back to this show?
We're just kidding, Frank. Super Killer 1 is never going to get made.
I gotta check these out. Manny, dude, if you touch my leg one more time, he's rubbing my leg behind the scenes over here. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm actually grabbing his leg.
Gus pleads innocence. He's like, I'm sorry, Superman. I didn't mean to do anything. Blah, blah, blah. But they trap Superman in a bubble.
Yeah.
They're like, let's see how he does without air. But they had not watched Superman 2, where apparently Kryptonians can just talk in space. So they don't really need air.
He also breathes in space.
Yeah. Then he gets shot with a kryptonite ray. They've somehow figured out what that missing element was.
Yeah.
And now they have a kryptonite ray.
59% of it. Yeah, I mean, it's an eventful little ending here. You know, there's bits and pieces that I like, but it's not your big fight scene at the end. It's Superman just being trapped.
But then Gus has a change of heart. He's like, you know what? I am wrong. So, you know, we had Gus's motivation for what he was doing. We're aware of his superpower, which is apparently being psychic with computers, and he has a character arc. He is a more developed character than Isom, wouldn't you say, Manny Muskets?
Easily.
That is another comic book.
I gotta check these out.
No, you don't need to check out Isom.
Isom actually comes out.
Isom comes out, but it's written like a 5th grader did it.
Yeah. Well, you know, good for him for at least getting them out.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people do say that.
Congratulations.
I mean, he makes less and less each time, but
hey, he's creating and doing his thing and pushing it out.
To this day, we still don't know what Isom's superpower is, and if you ask the creator, he gets real defensive.
Isom, that's the name.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them, and we don't know what his superpower is yet.
No.
Well, how does he save the day?
He does it actually.
Yeah. He goes to hell and fights a monkey or something.
Yeah, he goes to hell and fights a monkey.
Yeah, it's a street level, like, you know,
street level superhero who goes to hell and fights monkey.
I'm in, dude. I'm in. We needed him at the beginning of Superman 3 to save the day. Yeah.
He has some spin-off characters. The co-creator of Bane is doing some spin-off characters.
With him? Yeah. For Isom?
Yeah, well, he made a character called Horseman. And Dean Cain is voicing him in the animated trailer.
No shit.
Horseman or Horseman?
It's Horseman.
You're doing it.
Gus is a more developed character than Isom.
Yeah. Best character in the movie.
Yeah.
You can't make me say racist things about him.
So yeah, he has a change of heart. He goes down. He like punches Ross out to try and stop him. So he like what you call it? He breaks the computer.
He unscrews the screw.
Yes. But the computer has become sentient and is now feeding on energy from other sources. Actually, from the entire United States. We see like this huge blackout going on throughout the world.
This movie predicted AI.
It did. It did.
Mean, what came first, this or Terminator? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This one. Wait.
This one.
No.
It was what, 83 for this? Terminator was what, 82, 81?
Whatever, same thing. Around that time. Yeah. So yeah, everything is going nuts. The computer's becoming alive. Superman like leaves. He just leaves as everything starts breaking around him. And then Vera gets sucked into the computer. And is turned into a robot lady.
We finally get Brainiac.
Let's not call this Brainiac. Let's not call this Brainiac.
Is an evil Superman also Bizarro?
No, this is just evil robot lady.
I like the effects on her face when it came over her face.
Yeah, they do like reverse photography to like put all this stuff on her.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now we have something that like Superman can fight.
Yeah, finally.
And then he shows up and she shoots a laser and he reflects it back and that's the end of that fight.
That's it. Yeah, there's no like big battle there.
There was like a big build up to that character turning into a robot lady and then there's just nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing about the computer is that it knows everyone's weakness and defense and it can defend itself against anything. But Superman is able to use the acid from earlier.
Chekhov's gun.
Yes. He leaves the acid and then the fire around the acid makes it grow and destroy the computer. And I have it here. Couldn't he have done this with his heat vision?
That's what. So like when I was watching this, I think I looked away for a moment, and then I was like, and then it started to bubble over and explode. And I was like, oh, he must have hit it because there's a point where he's like looking over at it, like he's about to.
Because the computer is about to eat him, and I'm like, isn't he super strong? Can't he just rip the cords? How strong is this computer?
That as well. Yeah.
I know exactly how strong this computer is.
How?
Less strong than the cell phone in your pocket right now.
That's true. That's true. His old computer. They should have said how many megabytes.
Yeah.
How many megabytes is it? Oh, 5 megabytes.
Oh,
That's just too much power for one man.
I have the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
So yeah, the computer blows up. Vera's normal again.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Back to that.
Superman crawls out of the rubble and he saves Gus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they fly off together. I assume everyone else is dead. I don't know. I don't know what happened to everyone else.
He wants to save the hero of the film.
He says something about the cops handling him.
Huh?
He says something about
Oh,
the
yeah, he
cops.
says, they'll have to see the police. It's not your problem anymore.
Good citizen.
Yeah, and then Superman crushes a piece of coal to turn into a diamond for later.
Yeah.
And then he vouches for Gus at like a coal mining thing to be a computer expert there.
Do you guys have a computer? Yeah. Well, I'd recommend giving this man the job.
And it's like, no, Superman, he was the bad guy. Like, I know he had a change of heart, but he was complicit in all the bad guy stuff that they did.
What happened there, Manny?
Obviously, you guys don't want to address the real bad guys in this movie.
The writers?
Did Superman give him a pass because he was afraid of looking racist?
He was like, I've got so much anger, I just need to crush some coal.
You know what? He is trying. He does have an image problem because he was just bad Superman. He's trying to rebuild his image. He's like, I can't arrest a black guy right now.
The only black guy in this whole movie.
By the way, I was trying to think. There might be little lines here and there, but I was trying to think who was the most prominent black guy in the first two Superman movies. I think it's the pimps that are hanging outside of their car when Clark first changes into Superman. They go, "Hey man, that's a bad outfit." I think those are the only. That is the most screen time a black guy got in this series until Richard Pryor showed up, and they were like, "We're going all in."
And they had to change the whole tune of the whole film and make it a comedy for him. Yeah, they couldn't just throw Richard Pryor into the.
No, they made it a Richard Pryor movie.
That's crazy. How does that make you feel, man?
Man, he's the Jesse Owens of Superman. He changed the whole game.
So Gus turns down the job. And then he walks 10 miles to the bus stop.
9 to 10.
9 to 10 miles to the bus stop.
I like how he checks the wind.
Yeah. You didn't hear about me and Superman?
He pretends that they're friends.
Also has that Clark Kent or Superman does this.
Yeah. You know what? I need to read the Superman 78 comics. Did you know they made those?
Yeah, we brought it up in one of the episodes.
So there's these comic series now that they're like sequels to movies. Okay. And they did a Superman 78 where Brainiac does show up.
Yeah.
And it turns out Superman's parents have been alive this whole time in Kandor. But I need to keep reading. I want to make sure and see if Gus shows up again. I'm sure Gus will show up in the comics, right?
Does he show?
I hope he does.
I don't know.
Be stupid if they didn't bring Gus back.
Huh. I was talking to a viewer about him that he just got him and was going to read him as well. But yeah, I want to check those out.
We need Gus Gorman back in this franchise. So yeah, Clark tells Lana that her date with Superman is canceled.
Do you think Gus is going to be in the new Superman in July?
He should be. He should be.
They recast and bring in and
recast
pay some homage.
Well, Manny's available,
right?
Manny's available.
I was just joking about the tweets. I know you were just joking.
Damn, we started heavy with that too. And I tried to save you. As you saw, I tried to help him out here.
Maybe this is why I'm unemployed.
Wait. You guys were talking about how does she get money to get to Metropolis. They actually explained it. She sold her diamond ring.
No, that was to pay her heat bill.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Never mind. Mystery's still there. But Clark's like, hey, I got you a replacement diamond ring. Seems a little much. But yeah, we're about to have a happy ending. And then Brad shows up. The fucker followed her all the way to Metropolis.
Damn it, Brad.
My man's dedicated.
There wasn't a single girl between Smallville and Metropolis.
He's in love. He's in love.
He is in love. He is in love.
Also, no. It's a very small town. Superman almost dated his cousin.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, he's drunk.
He's a high school quarterback, man. He already did them all, and she was the best.
So he's drunk and bumbling and fucks up. He's not an issue. Later on, Lois returns with a really deep tan. Apparently, while she was on vacation, she exposed some crime thing down there.
Yeah. Doesn't she say Bermuda or something in the beginning of the film? She says Caribbean or vice versa. Or
Something like that. But she did a whole story while she was on vacation. But then she finds out that Lana's working at the Daily Planet, and she shows off her ring that Clark got her. And Lois is like, I'm sorry, what? So there's a little jealousy there. Lana's not in the next one. They never follow up on that.
Well, she never gave him any time of day. So, Lois, it's like, shit or get off the fucking pot.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
Whether you're going to be with Clark because you love Clark or you're not. And Lana loved Clark for who he was right here.
Thank you for demonstrating on Manny.
Yeah, of course.
Where she loved it.
Of course. I've been touching his leg the whole time. I wanted to touch his chest.
And now,
Sorry, Manny.
and now the Daily Planet has a computer bingo machine that just starts going haywire.
Yeah.
And then Superman. And I'm like, what a good happy ending. Everything's fixed. They couldn't fucking leave us alone. Superman goes back to Italy and makes the tower lean again. And that poor Italian man's like, give me that broom. And he just shatters all of it because he has since made straight tower statues and he breaks all his statues. And then this movie ends with Superman smiling. I'm like, no, you're still a bad guy.
So I wasn't watching when he first turned evil and like fixed or unleaned the tower pizza. Yeah. So that end credit scene made no sense to me.
You missed the tower scene?
Yeah. I was just
You had one job, Manny. Oh, shit.
Manny, what were you doing? Watching this in a Target or something?
They asked me to leave at some point, so
I was still on the bus to the Target.
Oh, dude. What did you do?
And then the movie ends. So what do we think, guys? Is Superman 3 underrated? Is it a total disaster?
It's almost as good as See No Evil, not as good as Harlem Nights, but
nice comparison.
Look, it's stupid. It's definitely stupid, but it's not taking itself seriously. And it has enough interesting ideas. Look, it's not great. It's not as good as the first two. But I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. I think when people think of like bad Superman movies, they're grouping this in with 4.
Yeah.
We're sure this is a step down.
Yeah.
It definitely has a tonal shift. It's more about Richard Pryor than it is Superman, but it's entertaining. All 3 of us were entertained.
Yeah. Definitely entertained. I mean, you can present this as its own film, really.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the connections of it all, but it's a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
You go into it. I mean, I'm sure back then people were going into it like, oh yeah, another Superman film. We're gonna get the same thing. See what happens with Lois and their romance, and maybe she finally finds out this time. We don't have to go back in time or drug her.
Yeah.
So they got rid of that altogether and said, let's just not have Lois because we don't want to drug her for a third time.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you go into it knowing what it is and you have a good time with it, it's a comic book movie. And at that time, I mean, it really got captured the vibe of the Silver Age Superman and, all this kind of, fun comic booky things. So,
it's dumb and ridiculous, but so are comics. So
I mean,
I enjoy it.
No worse than the Batman TV show.
Exactly.
No, the Batman TV show is better than this.
Yes,
but
TV show's better. But
similar
it's the same
idea. They
vibe.
both went into it saying these are comedies. The problem is the first 2 movies, they have comedic elements. They're obviously a little bit comedic, but they were also serious and they were good. So when this one shifted hard into comedy, I could see that being jarring, but it doesn't make it straight up bad.
No.
Yeah, the only part I didn't like was the first 30 minutes where Superman's trying to do hero work.
I hated him being a good guy.
Yeah, you're like, let's get back to Richard Pryor on the computer. That's the real.
Richard Pryor and Superman being a horny incel. That's all I needed.
It really is the most relatable superhero film.
I could be like that.
I relate to being a horny asshole.
Oh man, it's good. Yeah, I enjoy it for what it is. That's really what it is.
It's fun. It's fun. I as I get older, I like it more. I've now gone back to where I was as a kid, where I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm not a cynical asshole. This is great.
Yeah, it's like watching one of those fun, over-the-top 80s movies, and you're just like, dude, I can watch this all day, man. I mean, it's no Man of Steel, Manny. No Man of Steel. I'd still watch Man of Steel over this any day.
I will watch this 1,000 times before I ever watch Man of Steel again.
You're
Except for the
watch
ones
it again soon.
I have to watch it for this show. But other than that,
It does.
other than watching it for the show, I will probably never watch it again. But I will watch Superman 3 a lot.
I don't know, man. He said that we might review it once a year, Man of Steel. He said before every new DC movie, we will re-review Man
Well, that's
of
okay,
Steel.
Manny. We're gonna come back for a different Black Superman movie. We're gonna come back later this year for Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
awesome.
excited.
Yeah.
The Superman movie that took all the Superman out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait.
it's, yeah. Yeah, technically.
Shaquille O'Neal was in that movie?
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal is Steel.
I thought it was Sinbad.
No. No.
That's Kazam and Shazam that you're confusing. Yeah, that's a Mandela effect that we're getting at here.
And Frank, we will be back at some point for Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. There's a lot to talk about with that one. That's when Canon Pictures took over.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
You should watch the Canon Pictures documentary.
Okay. Yeah. Is
They
that-
made a lot of ridiculous movies in the 80s, and somehow they got Superman 4.
Really?
And there's a whole section in the Canon Pictures documentary that talks about what went wrong, because those two guys were just total messes.
Did Lester come back for it? Richard Lester?
No, someone else directed it, but like the two producers, they were known for making cheap garbage.
Yes.
And it's one of the worst. It's so
Is
bad.
it an older documentary about that time, or it's a new
No, it's like from
yeah?
like the last 10 years. It's actually a really fun. I can send you the Superman section, but I can send you the whole movie.
I'll
It's
watch-
a fascinating.
I'll watch
They
the whole
talk
doc.
about like the early like Chuck Norris movies, all the ninja movies from the 80s, like all these like Breaking and Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
It goes into all these movies that these two Israeli producers made all throughout the 80s, and they almost made a Spider-Man movie, and it never got off the ground.
Right, because of whatever they did before here. Yeah.
They made Sylvester Stallone's Over the Top, the arm wrestling
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, I'll send you the documentary. Everyone watch that documentary before Superman 4, because it is a solid one.
I'm excited.
But yeah, that's it for Superman 3. I think it's underrated. Manny, where can we find you?
MannyMuskets.com. Manny Muskets on all the Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And see me live doing comedy in Philly.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was loading your musket there while you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Frank.
Back, yeah.
Frank, what do you got going on?
I got a whole bunch of things on moving around at the moment. I think I have a new film called Own Kind coming out on Tubi, April 1st. So by the time this
isn't a prank, right? I'm not going to click on the movie and I'm going to get rickrolled. Like,
I didn't just wink. No, it's actually it's called Own Kind, and I think it comes out on Tubi April 1st. I'm not 100%, but by the time it's out, you'll know or not.
Okay.
You can check me out on IMDb, or you can follow me on Instagram. Stay up to date. We'll chat here and there. Frank_Volpe_.
Nice. And yeah, check out our previous Superman movies.
Yeah.
If you're new to the channel because you're just a Manny Muskets fan and you like the show, go back and check out our other episodes, but definitely check out the other Superman episodes. They're fun. And since then, I did a breakdown of the 3-hour-long TV version of Superman 1.
I saw. Yeah, nicely done.
Friggin' Lex Luthor had lions or something in that original cut.
That was your shortest review for a 3-hour film.
Yeah, I know.
Nicely done.
I did skip over a few things, but I linked to the article where you can see all the changes. I just picked the most interesting ones for me.
Agreed.
But yeah, check out all of that, and yeah, we'll be back with more Superman stuff this year, leading up to the new film.
A lot of Superman coming, baby.
Yeah, and maybe one starring Manny Muskets. We don't know, but yeah, that's it from us. Goodbye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.
Talking about tapes.